Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. It's Monday, it is June, and we are so glad to have you back with us for another week of news, commentary, and answering your crypto questions. My name is Evan. I'm going to be joined shortly by my colleague, Mr. Alex Popovich, and also my good friend. He's going to give us the update on consensus, where he went last week with Mack to what my partner Kim lovingly calls the armpit of Texas, because in case you didn't know, it's hot there. I've got my frizzy straws going on today and cotton shirt because it's here too. And Mama says put your hair back and put a cotton shirt on and that'll keep you cool. But Mama ain't no fool, but Mama lied. If you've got a crypto question, if you want to know about Bitcoin, if you want to understand how blockchain works, if you're skeptical about the environmental impact of NFTs, or you want to go deeper on what the Fire Dancer update is going to do for Solana, then this is the right place for you. Whether you're somebody who works here like us, or you're somebody who's new here, or just visiting and really not sure how they feel about this whole crypto thing, we want to help you get acclimated and adjusted. And I want to personally invite you to jump on into the community at the Rise Up Morning Show. Not only do we have this show 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time to answer your crypto questions for free, live, but all our streams go up to YouTube after they're posted. And we do medium tutorials there, like 30 minutes in length, focused on a specific topic, like how to do your own research, how to set up a hardware wallet, how to use Token Sniffer to spot a scam before you pay any money to buy a token. And we've got the Rise Up Morning Show newsletter, the best, briefest bullets, links, tips, tricks, etc. from our show. I hate newsletters. This one I have made for people like me, goes out one time a week, no crap, straight to your inbox, so that everything we talk about, if you don't have 12 hours to tune in, you can catch it all in one place. And of course, the Rise Up Morning Show Discord community, which is free to join. Come ask your questions, share a link. And if you want to go deeper, we've got courses there. We've got premium access there. We've got coaching there. All of it is helping the show live 24/7, and all of it is available at the riseupmorningshow.com. Or just tap my face. When Alex gets up here, tap his face. Use the link in our profile. It'll take you there too. We would love to have you in our community. The fastest way to learn anything, especially crypto, when you don't even know what questions to ask, is to join a community where you can ask your questions. Share what you know. We can learn, grow, and we say, rise up together. That's the way to do it, my friends. And here comes Alex to hear how it's been. Alex. Oh, not yet. There he is. Alex, my brother. How are you?
What's up, dude?
Man, I've been waiting. You know, usually when we talk about stuff on the show, you and I have already talked about it. I already know what you're going to say. I already know how you feel. But I was realizing today, not only is the audience going to hear about what you did at Consensus pretty much for the first time, but so am I. So
Yep.
I don't want to waste a lot of time. I'm curious to know how your travel home went, because as always, you had an adventure. But as soon as you're ready, I'm pretty much going to turn the show over to you and grill you and let you tell us all about Consensus. So you made it though. You're back in one piece. You look
Yep.
good.
Well, took me 38 hours to get from Boston to Savannah.
Could have walked faster.
Dude, it was wild. Yeah, I don't need to bore everyone with too much airport talk, because it was absolutely not just me.
No, but I will say, when you travel, it is like
Yes.
my top signal indicator for like sell the stock of whatever company you're using to get from A to B,
Yeah.
because they're gonna mess it up, man.
Yeah, no, dude, it was mostly just American. Like when Mac and I got to the airport in Austin, there was just plane after plane after plane taking off, every airline but American, because American uses one runway, and then everyone else uses a different runway, and the American Airlines runway was within the proximity for grounding from a lightning strike. So it struck once, and apparently there had been a couple like little hiccups before, and it was just a logistics problem. They scheduled too many things too close to each other, and they didn't want to cancel flights. They just kind of kept shunting people from plane to plane, and then no one was leaving, so they had to start kicking people off, and then the weather thing happened, um, and it was just like it was anyway. So first flight was like delayed. They changed the time to earlier, which I've never seen, so that was weird. And then they, from the early one, delayed it like all day long, and we were all missing connections and having to get rebooked on stuff. And then Dallas was terrible. They canceled like 2 flights from there, and then I was at airport all day. Mack finally escaped at like midnight the next day on a quick flight out to Miami. Did you get rugged?
No, I'm with you, man. I'm totally with you. Am I rugged? People, test check 1, 2.
Oh, so you're back.
Yeah, I'm
You're
with
good.
you.
You're back.
I was just stoic. You were expecting a
anyway,
laugh.
then
I'm sorry.
No. It was anyway, so then after the Dallas one, my next connecting flight wasn't until the next day, so I pulled the old classic sleep at an airport. Although this usually when I sleep at the airport, because this happens a lot. There's like no one else there, but this time, dude, it was like it was the middle of the day. There was so many people there, and anyway, finally made it to the next flight, and as I was like getting on, that was a reroute. So then they sent me to Philly because I was like, look, because originally they wanted to just send me straight to Savannah, but there was like 2 or 3 days before I could do that. So I was gonna like just be arbitrarily in Dallas for 3 days. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And so they were like, okay, we can send you to Philly, and then from Philly to Savannah. And I was like, all right, finally get that. That's the one I spent the night on. Get to Philly, and I'm like, all right, well, the second I land in Philly, they're going to cancel my Savannah flight. I just knew it. And sure as shit, I landed in Philly to a notification on my phone that the Savannah flight had been canceled. And yeah. Anyway.
What was going on with the weather? Was there a weather event?
No.
Just you.
Yeah. They kept saying canceled for weather, but it was like beautiful and sunny, and every other airline was just taking off
Suspiciously and whispering behind their hands to each other. So that was really the clue. God, Alex, we really don't have an airline sponsor or an airport sponsor, but that's like Warby Parker for our list of like sleeper. This show is not sponsored by, but could be. Absolutely should be sponsored by Amex and Centurion Lounges. No doubt at all. If
Dude,
only
for real.
for travel.
For real. That's what I attribute my sanity to. Was
Or maybe
having
you could get a Hertz membership and skip the airports altogether.
I just won't fly American anymore. It was horrendous.
Yeah. Okay, well, you made it home. You made it there. You did a lot while you were gone. Where's the best place to start? I snipped that great picture of you with Ragsy and Mack in front of her Brett sculpture. So maybe that could be like your cute stop, soft opening to tell us about consensus and anything you want to share. Obviously, we want to hear. And if you have crypto questions, don't worry. I've got my notebook. I'm taking them down. Jerry, I saw you asked about GameStop 2.0. Our general rule here is if you ask a question about a project, we prefer it if you tell us what you think about it in a nutshell. I want to know about GameStop. It looks good. I'm excited because it's cheap. Jerry did it. He said, I saw it, got it at $2. Do you like it? Do you not like it? What did you hear about it? That helps us get some context and jog our memories a little bit. So as soon as Alex is done with a good consensus update, because this is important stuff you need to know, we'll dive in and we'll start with Jerry's question about GameStop. But Alex, man, it was the place to be or what?
Yeah, no, for sure. It was really good. I am hyper bullish after the conference just based on the difference. So for context, I've been to Consensus before. I was there in 2022. And it's one of the good ones. It's one of the most like well-rounded conferences. Like if you go to, any of the big Bitcoin ones, the floor vendors are typically just mining companies, self-custody companies. It's very Bitcoin oriented. I think that this year, so Bitcoin Miami is no more. It's Bitcoin Nashville now. Evan, you'll have to tell us, but I'm pretty sure that this year there will probably be some new stuff just because there's a different kind of aura. Like for example, At Consensus this year, Lynn Martin was presenting. She's the president of the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
And she was talking all about just the desire to get more Bitcoin products on Wall Street, like Bitcoin options and stuff like that.
Sure. Throw it in an index fund.
Yeah, she wants more stuff there, which was very interesting to see. This, like a couple years ago, it was exclusively like crypto nerds on stage, and this time it was senators, representatives, people like Lynn Martin. I mean, RFK had a whole spiel. There were obviously lots of big wigs, but it was just a very different. There was like one or two cringy crypto things, and that's it. That's a pretty good ratio for a conference. Usually there's quite, and the booths too. There's usually lots and lots of little tiny booths that are just trying to market stuff. This time it was like Stellar, XRP, Polkadot, VeChain. That was kind of a meme.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was like their odd little booth tucked back in the corner with no people. But like Stellar rented, 10% of the floor space for this massive,
wow,
working lounge and whatever. That was huge. They did like a whole rebrand. That was quite something. There's a big like demo floor for people demonstrating different products and stuff. So there was games, there was other tech stuff, there was mining stuff. That was interesting. I've never seen like a full product demo floor before, but now people actually have to show up with stuff. So that was cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, it was packed. There was a lot of people, which is good. The Ragsy, we were walking around, and there was, we were just kind of wondering like, who had we texted? Who did we not text yet? Could we try to link up with anyone? Just kind of taking stock of the whole thing. And so we were just doing a lap, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't text Ragsy yet. So I texted Ragsy, and like 4 seconds later, walked around the corner, there's this huge Lego Brett sculpture being done. And Mack was like, oh, look, Brett. And then he just turned around and kept walking. I was like, Mack, you dumbass. And turned around, there's Ragsy on the floor making it. So we sat there and put some Legos on there with her for a little bit, and then continued on. Yeah, no, I mean, it's probably easier to if anyone has questions about what was there or whatever. I talked to lots of different people about the show and coming on here and using it to do some promotion and advertising and sponsorship stuff. So we've got a good list.
Yeah, are you allowed to talk about any of that and give me updates on the air, or do we have to do it off the air? Because I would just assume you do it here if you're allowed to. But also, I get it. All of it's speculative.
Yeah. No, every single one needs to be followed up with. It's just people who expressed interest and stuff. But like, Stellar
it's a good list.
Stellar's got some cool stuff coming that they wanted to talk about, and my whole point was, if you want to, the thing I kept trying to impress upon people is you have to, you've got to speak English to people. Like my biggest chief takeaway from this conference is that Solana is winning, and it's really obvious why, and no one else is even close. Like the Stellar guy was telling me some really cool stuff, but I barely understood any of it, and we had to go back and forth, and I had to like look stuff up after, and I was like, it's incredible how few people in crypto, not that they're not all doing cool shit,
right,
but they have no idea how to tell people what they're doing. And I'm just like, guys, none of the stuff you're making matters if you can't talk to the people about it. Like everyone's oh my God, Evan, Multiverse X was there.
Oh no.
They had a pretty big booth. They had prime placement. They were right inside the front of the conference center. And one of the people that we knew did not know who they were and had gone through the door and like stopped and asked them, like, "Oh, what is this?" And I'm shit you not, one of the people attending the Multiverse X booth just said, "Oh, we used to be Elrond," and he's like, "Oh, okay." And that's pretty much where the conversation ended. The guy just like went back to the desk and
That was the pitch.
couldn't carry it on anymore. And I'm like, bearish. But
have you seen his leather jacket? Oh my!
he was not there that I can tell.
Also bearish. Okay. Okay, I have some questions for you that while the audience gets warmed up. These are some rapid fire questions. So you really did give me a good list of sponsors, many of whom are names people will recognize, all of which are people I'm excited about. I wanted to touch on the Stellar thing to say Stellar is not a company. While I'm enthusiastic about their tech, I am generally unenthusiastic about their presence on media, especially for their propensity to attract like Nasara, Jasara, QFS, scammy stuff. And at first I was like, oh no, Stellar. But then I was like, wow, how cool would it be if we got to give the Stellar pitch and could be a place where Stellar trusted audiences on TikTok to hear about what they're actually doing versus the speculative, totally crappy, scammy stuff. And that made me feel like really proud to think that we might get to do that. So good on you.
Well, and plus Mack and I were like, you know, how do you guys feel about your narrative these days? You know, because you're kind of a boomer coin. And
they're old, man.
For context, a very good friend of ours works for Stellar now. She just started, and she's been a friend of Faceless for a long time. She's the reason we got the grant from Core, and now she's working with Stellar. So we were kind of talking about, you know, changing that messaging and whatever, and that's very much on their radar, especially with their rebrand and everything. Because I was like, no one knows anything about you. Like I can speak pretty comfortably for most of the crypto space when I say no one knows anything about you, and I think that you're just junior XRP. I think you're XRP at the kids table. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, granted, ex Ripple founder is the Stellar founder. But it sounds like with their rebrand, Stellar is like moving in to capitalize where Cardano is dropping the ball on global, you know, mission driving and trying to serve underserved areas of the planet with stuff on chain and blockchain solutions to things. So there seems like they're pushing forward projects in Africa, and that was my question. I was like, are you guys just trying to be Cardano and do the things that they said they were going to do? Because that's kind of a mission. We've seen how that worked. You know, best of luck. And I don't know, they seem to be uncomfortable saying yes or no to that question, but that's kind of the vibe that I got. It sounds like they have a humongous community fund that you can apply for, and lots of different ways that you can get money from them, which is exciting. So we might be applying to something like that. It kind of depends. I don't know, we'll have to see. But some of this, one of the tech piece that was really cool is their pass keys. So basically they're trying to remove the need to do seed phrases and whatever, and they're trying to replace it with a piece of technology that has existed for a while. And I'm going to try to dumb this down to the way that I had to understand it at first, because the guy was just explaining it to me and I was like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he sent me a product demo video, which is actually pretty seamless, and it makes sense. But so passkeys we've had on phones for a while. They are encrypted. They are encrypted using one particular kind of encryption, and it's been like that for a long time. Stuff that is encrypted has to remain.
This is a good angle. Sorry.
No, that's a little bit more. Give me a little bit more of a nose up shot. There it is.
Oh my God. I've never seen somebody so handsome become so Jabba the Hutt.
Sorry. No, you guys were having an intelligent conversation.
No, to catch you up, you just joined. Alex is catching us up on consensus. Before we get to, we've got some audience questions coming up, but he, was there all last week, and we said, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?" And he's catching us up on Stellar specifically. He said they had about 10% of the booth space to host a co-working spot, and are really working to do, they've been around forever, a rebrand. So that's where you caught up, and we're talking specifically about this new feature, passkeys. And I have heard about passkeys before, but I was saying, my excitement about Stellar comes from the opportunity, if they were going to come sponsor the show, we could help them tell it in a simpler way and also a less scammy way. So please continue, Alex. Passkeys.
Yeah, so essentially, so blockchain also uses encryption, but they all use their own flavor. And so every major blockchain has their own encryption method. He like ripped through this thing, and I was just like, bro, stop. I don't have a PhD. You can't talk to me like that. And
you can't talk to me.
You're gonna have to buy me a drink first, yeah.
And the reason that there hasn't been able to be any movement forward on any of this kind of stuff is just because you can't really futz with that. Once a blockchain has used one for so long, if you tried to switch to another, they're not cross-compatible. These different encryption methods can't talk to each other. That would defeat the whole purpose.
Yeah.
So there's really nothing that you can do. And Stellar is in a very unique position where they've been around for 10 years. They just turned 10, and they only got smart contracts like 3 months ago. And so they basically were starting from scratch with the encryption method. So they just picked one that works with passkeys that uses that same kind of encryption curve. There's a technical term for it that I'm forgetting now, but essentially that's kind of why they're able to do this, and why everyone else is just sort of sitting there not able to do it, or would have to rebuild the tech from scratch to fit with their curve. And so that's kind of interesting. So he gave me the demo, and basically the way that it would work is the exact same way that, like, if you use an iPhone, or if you use Samsung or something, and you have Samsung Pass or Apple Keys or whatever. Sonoran, that's probably a really good question that I cannot answer for you, but we could certainly ask the Stellar people.
And I have a note to extend that question, because there are a lot of people who say their whole job is to make the multi-chain future possible by helping blockchains talk to each other in different ways, whether it's the encryption front.
And to be clear, it's possible to get through this. You just have to decrypt and re-encrypt stuff. That's how the cross-chain stuff works now. And it basically, all it does is just muddy the user experience. So Stellar's whole mission here is to make it really smooth and seamless. And I got to play with like I said, I got the little product demo, and it was cool. You're doing all of the normal blockchain stuff, except from start to finish, you never have to deal with a passphrase or the secret phrase or anything like that. You just using your biometrically encoded passkey on your smartphone. So if it's your Face ID or a fingerprint or whatever, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And if you lose your phone or whatever, the whole thing is stored in your cloud, but it's using the similar level of encryption that a standard blockchain is encrypted anyway. And this is what they're going to come on and talk about. So there's my little dumbed down preview of it, but.
Cool. Oh, sorry, Evan. I think you were right about to hop onto something, but that's cool and all. They just needed to do that a year ago.
Yeah. So that was my biggest follow up is what are we doing with this? Because I personally think it's a little bit too late.
Yeah.
To just do this. And I don't disagree with his logic here. He's like, I think that it might be a little bit late for all of the people who are already here. They might look at this and think this is not that cool. But for the gajillion people who have never heard of this or done any of this, this will just be an easier way to get started. And if you're comparing it, then that seems to be the play that they're going for.
Well, and we definitely have a bias towards, we've done it a long time.
Yes.
Most people know nothing.
Yes. Well, because that's why Mac and I were like, I mean, what are you guys doing with regards to the rest of the crypto space? Because they're, you guys are the boomer coin. You are baby XRP. People just kind of put you in the basket with XRP, XTC, and XLM. And those are the three X cryptos. And that is the cringiest narrative out of all of the space. And, that's not going to be an easy thing to get away from. And I don't know. I mean, they're gonna give it a valiant effort, but like at the same time that they're doing all of this, like I mentioned, Solana is just absolutely steamrolling everyone and everything.
Okay, so that's my next question. I wanna move us along, since we can only speculate on Stellar at this point until we get them on the show. Will and I talked about it last week when you were gone, and I put it in the newsletter that the bull run is Solana's to lose. And the Fire Dancer upgrade is either on everyone's lips or it's about to be. So what was your impression of what Solana's presence at the conference was, and why do you say that? They won. They're winning.
Because it's really simple, actually. Because every time I saw or heard someone from the Solana ecosystem tell me about something, they said it in one or two sentences and they didn't use any technical language. And the congestion and whatever, none of that fucking matters.
Yeah, but let's touch on that in a second, because Fire Dancer, I think, will address that.
No, but
it will, as long as it's successful.
This is my point. That nothing else really matters, and Solana is proving that it doesn't matter, because as of now, those issues have not really been fixed, and no major improvement has taken place. However, they just keep adding new stuff for people to do. It's easy to use. When it works, it works. And here's the thing, the connection that I've made is just no one's tech works all the time. Look at Evan's phone.
I mean, did you have to go there?
Yes, always.
You gotta get a new one.
Look at all of it.
I got a new one a couple days ago. I didn't even need it.
Send Evan your old one.
Your old dusty phone.
It's obliterated into 1,000 pieces now, so
Yeah, fair enough.
He's given a Viking burial.
So the point is, like, and trust me, like I hear it when I say it, and I wish that things worked better, and it's why I hated on Solana for a long time, because technical capabilities just constantly went down and there was all these issues and whatever. But at the end of the day, no one in the grand scheme of things really cares, because when they're there and when stuff is working, it works quickly, it works cheaply, and it's easy to use, and their branding is on point. And when their devs are on Twitter and they're talking about stuff, they're speaking to their users, they're not speaking to each other. And like my biggest example, you walk in to Consensus and there was a huge banner for the Layer 0 Solana integration. And if you had any questions about, oh, what does that mean? There was a single sentence on the bottom. It just said, Layer 0 is a messaging protocol that connects all the blockchains. And that was the whole sentence. And no one needed to answer any more questions about it, because everyone knows what that means. It's a way. That's it.
I have two comparisons that I like to make with Solana, and one is from me being a history buff, and also me being in corporate America, and working in very large multi-billion-dollar companies and a couple startups. There are a lot of companies that have this great tech, and they build this great tech, and they have like this CIO-minded CEO running the ship, right? And they have the best tech in the space, and nobody uses it, and the company doesn't grow, and blah, 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 because like they don't value marketing and salesmanship. And then you have a company whose product is inferior, but who value marketing and salesmanship. If you can't make people understand something in simple terms, they won't buy it. It is just not going to happen, right? So there's that. Another thing that I make is, I remember I had this one paper in college. I was 2 courses short of having a history minor for a second minor in college, and so I really love this stuff. And I dove a paper about how the cultural differences between the UK and the US resulted in how railroad engines were developed. And so this is the paper that I wrote. And so in the UK, it's hilarious because there are all these firsthand accounts of these British engineers just like flabbergasted as to why the U.S. won't buy their engines because they are more efficient with steam and coal, and they're like, oh right, but who cares? It's 1 mile per hour short, or slower than this. You use less coal. And America's like, we like fast, baby, woo! And the only trains that got used in America were the ones that were faster, that delivered a better experience to the passengers, because there was so much more track in the U.S. and those were the only ones. And a lot of the railroad industry, from an engineering standpoint, collapsed in the UK, and it all moved to the States. And that to me is Solana versus all of these other like big techie brands that are like, but we have better tech. That to me is the same comparison of Ethereum versus Cardano. You have like a blockchain team's culture that says, hey, we're just going to push stuff out. It's going to break, but we're going to learn, but we're going to have things for people to use. Will always outperform we have the best tech Charles Hoskinson approach. It's going to be that way every way. And then I think the guy's name was Pleik. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, Pleik's a friend of the show. Yep.
Yeah, mentioned I remember I've seen your name in here a few times. I think we follow each other and talk in the comments too. But the issue about the congestion. Whenever, and I used to do this, I mean, like years ago, and the same as you, Alex, I'm pretty sure same as you, Evan, like I was very critical of Solana because I'm like, who wants to use this thing that breaks? It's like, it would break like 5, 6, 7 times a year, right? And now it's been once over the past 400 days. It broke that one time, I think like 4 months ago. But the thing is, people are like, oh, why would I use a blockchain that breaks? If the other blockchains were handling the same amount of congestion right now that Solana was, we would be seeing a slew of them breaking all the time. All the time. The only chain that's come close recently was Sui in a very controlled test, and it happened for like a day. And this is the spike of congestion volume. It tied Solana, and then they turned it off quickly to be like, we can handle the same. Like, that's not exactly the same, but that's a nice test, guys. It's nice to see. And so like you would see all these other blockchains having the same problems as Solana, most likely. Maybe not all of them. Maybe there is a handful that wouldn't. But it's what Solana's doing right now is so impressive. Once Fire Dancer comes out, assuming that it's bullish, and even if you hate Solana, you better hope to God it's successful, because if it's not, it's such a big event. Cryptos across the board will tank. Most likely.
Yeah, it's like XRP. You may not like XRP, but you should care about the Ripple lawsuit.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. But those are my thoughts. I just wanted to touch on that too.
Excellent. Okay, let me really quickly, I want to ask Alex one more question about I have 2 questions about the conference, maybe 3, and I wanted to be rapid fire because we do have some audience questions. Not to, it's your show, man. You can do whatever the hell you want. But I do want to draw people's attention to, if you got the newsletter.
It's our show. Screw the audience questions.
Forget you guys. I love you all. I do want to draw your attention to, if you're curious about Fire Dancer, I could give you a summary. Maybe we could talk about it another day on the show, like panel day, get everyone's opinions on it. But I did put a great brief write-up in the newsletter that went out yesterday. You can read it for yourself to understand, like, why is it such a big deal? Why is it likely to help Solana out in terms of transactions, in terms of performance, all that stuff. It's in the newsletter. If you're not signed up for the newsletter, tap my face, tap everyone's face, or go to the riseupmorningshow.com. You can get it there. Best, briefest bullets. I put Brosidon's picture in there. So all kinds of fun stuff, honestly. And Alex still hasn't gotten any context on that, and we'll keep it that way for now.
Yeah, that's good.
Because Alex, I got to ask you, you mentioned gaming. Did you get to play? I was excited to hear what you said about like the difference between like vendors probably selling hats and pants and vendors being like, look at this actual product that we have that uses blockchain. Did you get to touch with your eyes or your hands any blockchain games, or what did you see otherwise that made you excited?
Yeah, so there was a couple product demos that were really cool. There was a few games. There was like I didn't stand in line to do any of them. And if you guys follow any of the Web3 gaming space, there was a lot of individuals there that I was excited to meet. So I spent most of my crypto gaming time at an event, just like nerding out with a bunch of people that I follow on Twitter, which was very exciting to meet them in real life. Sam Stefania was there with his brother.
I have no idea who that is.
Wait, when you met these guys on Twitter, where you're like, you look nothing like your monkey NFT on Twitter.
These are all streamers who have wholeheartedly gotten into Web3 gaming. Not many of the mutant ape PFP crowd, but for if you don't know, Sam and his brother are YouTubers. Like, I think total millions of subscribers, billions of views, and now they are Sam is the founding member, I think, of a group called Wolves Den DAO, which is just like a coalition of game developers, game designers, and streamers, all in Web3. And I've been like on the brink of applying for a while, but I wanted like some more clout, and now I met all of them, so now I can apply.
Hell yeah!
But they're really cool. They were all very, very nice. I met a friend of mine who I've had an online friend for a little while, a couple others, and then so that was cool. Product floor or game wise, the Parallel was there, Cornucopia was there, and I was watching other people play. You know, I mean, they're functional games. They look great. They were doing really well. People were there answering questions, so that was cool.
You said Parallel and Cornucopia, are those game dev companies?
No, those are games.
Okay,
those
okay.
Games.
Because
There's a couple other ones as well. Some racing stuff. There was a game that is sort of like, and it's really funny. Here is another interesting tidbit. People on the floor were hyper aware of the fact that they did not want to use the words NFT or metaverse.
yeah.
So like, one of the guys describing Cornucopia was like, well, it's a metaverse, but like we're trying to say other stuff, and we're like, hey, say whatever you want, dude. Who cares?
Just be like, yeah, it's our gaming ecosystem. Boom, perfect. Run with it.
And on their branding, they have, you know, open world MMO type of thing. So, you know, they're trying to stick to more traditional gaming terms, which I am completely in support of because they work and there is no need to change it. Who cares?
I would say the best thing people should do is exactly that. Just like stay away from NFT, metaverse, crypto, and your wallet and stuff. Like, since the idea is taking it and throwing it back and be like, this is our game.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't it fun? Do you like it?
Yeah.
You can make money playing it. Whoa! How?
Wouldn't it be cool?
Don't worry about it. Shush, 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 sweet summer child. Shush.
That's really the crux of it. It was here's our game. Wouldn't it be cool if when you bought stuff in it, you actually owned the stuff you bought? And that was that was very refreshing to hear, because that's what I've been saying is the only part I give a shit about. Another cool product demo that is out that Mack is a lot more equipped to talk about, because he's been Sonoran. I did not. Whoever that is, just block him. They're really ramping it up lately. I've been blocking a lot more impersonators than usual over the last.
I thought you were like,
Yeah,
"Fuck,
we're getting
Sonoran."
more
I
fakers
heard his
in
name,
our
and I was like,
streams.
no, he likes my videos. I was like,
Right. We're getting more fakers in our streams. We had fake. I brought fake Casey Craig up to the stage the other day, and I saw a fake blockchain boy was in here for a while today and was like the #1 gifter. So watch out, or should I say #1 grifter? Stay tuned. Watch out.
Yeah, met Casey. She's wonderful. She'll be joining. The real Casey will be joining us at some point. What was I?
You were saying just about the different.
So Max talked a lot about Aether.
Yeah.
As a project, and they have this cool product called the A phone, which is not a hardware device, but it's an emulator basically that you can download onto your phone and turn your existing smartphone into phone and have access to their cloud, which is kind of their whole shtick. So that was pretty exciting. It was kind of like, you could do it on an iPhone, you could do it on Android. The operating system that they chose is Android because it's superior in every way, shape, and form to the iPhone operating system.
it is.
And, no, it is 100%. Rip Apple boys. And And it's so they've got like their suite of dApps and stuff. So the idea is that kind of the shit that Saga can do, you can use the A phone service and product to put on any smartphone. And so Mack has been doing a lot of talking with them. He's more equipped to talk about it. He got the full product demo with them and met the team and was doing all this. I met them briefly, but I wasn't spending that much time over there. So when Mack is here next tomorrow, we can talk more about that. Is there not? You had another? Oh, the one other thing I was just going to say, just before we moved on completely from why Solana is winning, is just the way that the core team and the big wig devs talk about it. So a few of them were there. Solana had a house, and I didn't get to it, and I'm forever sad about it because they had all black Solana snapbacks, and I was like, dude, get me. I need one. And I couldn't get to the Solana house, but basically there was just this house where all the Solana bigwigs were hanging out, and I had an in, and I just couldn't get there. But Mert was there, and he's one of the people I wanted to meet, and I never saw him, which was a bummer. But when Solana was like hyper congested, you know, he was the first one on Twitter talking to the people about it, and he was just like, "Hey, Solana's fucking broken. You can all flame me until it's fixed." And for context, he's the CEO of Helia, and he's just like a Solana core dev. He is like the guy. He's the developer. When that dude walks into a room at a conference, everyone just kind of knows, like, and he's huge. He's a giant guy, huge beard. Like, he doesn't look like your standard, crypto dev. I guess he looks like a refrigerator with legs.
Nice.
So it's like Vitalik on the spectrum and Mert on the spectrum.
Mert, yeah. And then when they fixed the congestion thing, Mert's first tweet was, "I fixed it, shut the fuck up." And it's just like,
I saw that.
This is the like community facing messaging though that like people enjoy. And if you guys have been you want to see a masterclass on how a blockchain should be talking to its community, go side by side the way that anyone else tweets and the way that Solana is tweeting right now with the whole intern shtick, because it's night and day, and one of them is very clearly better than everything else. And I'll let you figure out which one is winning.
Okay, I have two more rapid fire things for you before you get off the topic of the conference, which is, you mentioned layer ones having a strong presence, and I'm curious to know if you think that's a sign that they are actually building cool stuff that's just taken a long time to mature, or if it's just indicative that they have war chests and need to remain relevant, and this is just a coincidental timing of, their rebrandings. The second question, which you could answer first if you wish, is about politicians. I heard someone say on the Unchained podcast that, a lot of it right now, as you say, is pandering. People are promising, people are talking, politicizing, but we're not getting a lot of action. Showing up at a conference is a form of action, but it could be a form of pandering. You mentioned RFK, you mentioned Lynn Martin. Obviously, Donald Trump is talking a lot about cryptocurrency right now. Biden just slapped down the repeal of SAB 121. So what's your impression on that? And you can kind of pick which answer first, layer one or politicians.
I didn't necessarily get the impression that the layer ones is a faster answer, so I'll knock that one out. I didn't necessarily get the impression, there's Mac, that the layer ones were there unveiling a whole bunch of products, and Mac can back me up on this one. My impression of why all of the layer ones were there was to tell people that they still exist and that they're still doing stuff, because they're all dinosaurs who really haven't had much going on lately. And it was cool to see them, because usually you don't get to see big presences there. And like, we didn't go talk to anyone really except for Stellar. And that's because Kim was there and we wanted to go see Kim. Otherwise I would not have gone to talk to Stellar. So, bullish on Kim, ambivalent on Stellar. And no, I don't think there was anyone else that XRP had a massive, massive thing. And David Schwartz and Brad Garlinghouse were both there.
I would have been curious to have seen them talk.
Yeah, we saw Brad speak just a little smidgen, but at the same time, right next to Brad talking, a bunch of meatheads were raffling off like a 1980 Mustang and a whole bunch of other stuff. It was really weird.
Not even a good Mustang.
Yeah, it was really funny. Um, Karate Combat was they were a huge presence there. That was like,
Karate
yeah.
Combat?
Is that a gym? Is it a game? Is it a
No,
movement?
it's the crypto influencer fighting thing, and then now it's like trying to evolve into
Oh
a more
my God,
serious.
yeah.
So
Like where Big Boy fought that guy? Oh my
that was through that, yeah. And then the people that were there this time actually looked like they were more legitimate fighters. So I think they're like morphing into like the crypto fight league, although it's like a weird, I don't know what you would call it. It's just striking. There's no like, it's not MMA, but it's not boxing, but it's also not kickboxing. It's just kind of fisticuffs.
What they should do is they should just make it slap boxing.
Yes.
Honestly, yeah.
Slap boxing.
Yeah, I don't know what the.
They just like find a high school cafeteria and put a bunch of the cafeteria tables together, and then you just start slapping in the school until cops show up.
And the halftime entertainment is a kid like eating 500 chicken nuggets or putting like a latex glove on his head and inflating it with his nose until he can't breathe.
That, or my head immediately goes to going to the first and only season of the Indoor Football League in Portland, Maine, the Maine Mammoths. And it was the most chaotic show I ever saw. And they brought out the Steel Drum Cultural Inclusion Band, which was their full name. And there was a bunch of like white Mainers playing The Little Mermaid on steel drums, being like, "It's Caribbean National Holiday Day." And I was just like, what? And then as they were rolling off with these steel drums, the guy comes, "Thanks, in the Cultural Awareness Band of Southern Maine, brought to you by," and he pulls out a piece of paper, and he goes, "Toast?" And there's a question mark. It's like the Toast Payments. He goes, "Toast?" And like an entire stadium of like 10,000 people just lost their goddamn minds. That's what I want. That's what I
want too. Honestly, if they approach us to like get in the ring, first of all, I nominate Mack to do the fighting for me. But then we got to tell them you need Toast.
Yeah,
and the inclusion band, the steel drum inclusion. Quick side note to say, I used to be an announcer for the roller derby here in Memphis, and I have never seen better halftime entertainment than like collectively at roller derbies. I saw medieval sword fighting with like full-on armor. I saw pole dancing, fire eating, and then also like monkey bike racing. So like just cool, weird niche, adrenaline-y stuff.
I love that.
If crypto could get that, that'd be cool. Anyway,
yeah,
we derailed you. Sorry.
Yeah, what were we talking about?
Layer ones, if you want to be relevant, Caribbean steel.
Yes. No, the layer ones, that was the overall vibe that I got from the layer ones. I didn't really see anything super. Solana's the exception. Groundbreaking or forward moving. I think Polkadot didn't have anything that I really saw. And granted, we didn't go to panels because panels are boring. And I figured like this week I'm gonna watch a bunch of speeches on YouTube because they're all going to be up there, and I didn't want to spend my conference time listening to lectures that I could watch later, because you just don't get the opportunity to be in the room with all those people after you leave. So
yeah,
don't spend it listening to a lecture. Spend it talking to people. But that's the vibe that I got from the layer ones, that they were there to remain relevant. And no, not really. Like not that I've seen any real reason to layer two that.
Yeah. Layer 2 what? For the viewers on YouTube who said, what the hell is he talking about?
Asked if there's any need or use for layer 2s on Solana. And
that's fired answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the upgrade. Yeah, but it's not a layer 2. It's just an upgrade. Yeah, there's no need.
What about politicians?
Last thing, Evan, thought of you because there was a lot of base talk. Not in booths. There wasn't like a big base presence there, but in the crowd, everyone was like chit-chatting about base, and there was a lot of FarCon references. And we talked to the POAP people, and a few others, and there was a lot of I heard from a lot of people just like that, little whispers about base and stuff. So that was kind of exciting.
Good.
Yes.
My bag.
Yeah. Nothing at all. Not even the faintest whisper about Blast. Just
Interesting.
For what it's worth. Yeah, it was all base. What else? Politicians wise, like I said, we didn't go listen to anything or talk to anyone, but it was interesting that there was more of that, because typically that's not really the case. There's like, there was a few of like the OGs who are in the political world who've been talking about it, like Suarez, Francis Suarez. That's his first name.
Yeah, it's Francis.
He wasn't there, but like we've seen him before.
That's because he's in too many investigations. But anyway, regardless.
RFK, I mean, the first thing you saw when you walked in, like outside the main entrance to the thing, was a giant bus painted with the Bobby meme coin branding, and they were like airbrushing hats, and it was very memey. And then inside there was a huge RFK campaign table. He spoke. There was Tom Emmer and one other. I can never remember his Democratic counterpart, but Tom Emmer is the Republican, and then the other guy. And they're the two, one Democrat and one Republican, that have just been talking about the need for sensible crypto regulation and legislation for years and years. They were both there. And then obviously Hester Pierce was there. And I'm trying to think if there are any other politicians. Mack? That is
the fattest squirrel I've ever seen with a PH.
Look at the teeth on him.
I hope that you are stuck. I hope you're stuck there now.
I just wanted to say, bearish on L1s. I think that.
I thought you were going to say the conference was nuts.
Oh yeah.
Damn it.
Well,
Are you feeling like Alex was, that they were mostly just trying to remain relevant and spending their money?
Certainly. I mean, the crazy thing is that every conference I go to, I see a big fat Tron display, and I know Tron is more relevant in Asia, but it's just wild that
Tron is huge, man.
They like to spend their money.
Yeah, I didn't.
But we are.
Cardano there this time, but
Nope.
as Alex said, Stellar was there in force. There was a Tezos booth, but that was kind of diminutive, so that was bearish. It's almost like you either got to go big or not even show up, because then it just looks weak,
Yeah.
But it's like, at this point, what are L1s offering? It's like, hey, we do everything Solana does, but just differently in terms of users, worse. So
Yeah.
Mack, what are your thoughts on Avalanche then? Because it seems like they've made like a pretty big home in the Web3 gaming space. What are your thoughts on that?
They had a lot of momentum. It seems like they've kind of tied their boats to, or their ship, however the saying goes, to gaming. So if gaming ebbs and flows, then so too might their popularity. But
That's my thought process there too.
yeah, I think they have some friction with the X and C chain too. That makes it harder for users to navigate, and it's just
Although I will say, I remember when Avalanche was hot last cycle, and like I had to be really careful, like which chain you used, and I was like triple checking everything. But like recently, when I've used it and kind of like gone over to Trader Joe, or I've messed around with a few Web3 games and like pilot and demo on Avalanche just to like check some stuff out, and like it just kind of like automatically connected to the C chain, and I didn't really have to like worry about anything or select anything manually. So I was like, oh, okay, at least they seem to have fixed that from like a user standpoint. But
and the good thing is that it's EVM too, so it's EVM compatible, which is great. That's like, if you don't want to use the L2s, then Avalanche is a great alternative. You can do all on MetaMask, but they weren't there though at this conference.
No, but they've done a lot of conferences lately, and they were represented there because games that are building on Avalanche were there, and they were talking about Avalanche being their host. So I think there was some representation, but I mean, they dominated GDC very recently.
Yeah.
And like because shrapnel was floating around in a very big way, and shrapnel is basically the poster child for Avalanche gaming right now. So I would say Avalanche didn't feel the need to spend the money on consensus booths because they felt appropriately represented, and they have been hitting the conference circuit real hard this year.
And Trent had a great question too. Why would any AAA game want to be on a blockchain? And I guess I could say my two initial thoughts would be, one, because in this environment, blockchains offer unprecedented amounts of liquidity and money, basically. So if you can time up and tie in your game with some sort of element of Web3, then you can attract crypto users and you can make a shit ton of money. That's one thing.
Yes,
that's kind of like the less desirable part of it. If you the more ethos driven part of it is that games and gamers are realizing that kind of all the effort that you put into a game, whether that be, you know, from a day's work or years and years, can kind of just disappear once the game turns off. So there's a new movement where players want to own their achievements from the game. So whether that be a custom skin that they earn, or a weapon, or you know, a status in the game, even just their accounts themselves. You know, like if old school days you're playing RuneScape or World of Warcraft and you wanted to like sell your account or sell gold for real money, you had to do it in a super sketchy kind of like drop fashion and link up with people on eBay and do all kinds of sus shit. So with Web3, all of that kind of becomes legitimized on the blockchain. So the short answer is money and the ability to kind of track and own your achievements, which then the players are free to sell and trade and do whatever.
Yeah, I have some things to add on to this as well. And one of my best friends, Alex, Mack, you've heard this before. He's the lead developer for Rockstar Games, and I've talked to him about NFTs and stuff. And I've talked to him about like their potential thought process of like how it could actually.
Still waiting on that hookup, by the way, Will.
What?
I said I still want to talk to that guy, so I'm.
Well, he
waiting.
doesn't want to talk to any crypto person. He barely wants to talk about that.
He barely
stuff.
wants to talk to Will.
He barely wants to talk about it to me because he's just focused on putting out a good game. And he's like, don't fuck. I don't give a shit about this stuff, man. I'm like, no, it's gonna change your life. And so anyway, one of the things with a game is, for a game company, they put out a game, and if it's not a GTA, there isn't a continuous cash flow past the point of when people are buying the game itself and maybe buying some DLC. Because the thing is games lose their stickiness for the most part pretty quickly. So like you have like if this is a chart of active players and purchases, you have your active players right out the gate, and then it kind of goes down. And the Twitch streams go down over time. And the amount of people who are still playing the game go down, which means your initial game sales go down. These sales that you have for DLC opportunities down the line go down also. And that's why a lot of servers servers for games get turned off. It's a really popular game. Maybe it doesn't get turned off for 6 years, maybe, you know, if it's super popular. Otherwise, it's like, you know, 2, 3, 4 years down the line, server gets turned off because it's not making any money for the company anymore. And they want to take those resources and dedicate them towards other games, right? So that's that. If you take things put on the blockchain, one of the great things about NFTs is the ability to dramatically change cash flows for businesses. So let's just use Grand Theft Auto as an example. You know, they're big money makers. Like they sell their DLC packs for cars and guns and clothes for your character and your house and your boats and all that stuff, right? All these could be NFTs, but the thing for them is they still only make money on those initial sales. If all those were NFTs, a player could buy the boat, say it's $10, $10 goes to Rockstar Games, and then they have the boat for a while and they're like, hey, I don't want to play this game anymore, or I want to buy another boat. I'm going to take my boat to this marketplace and sell it to somebody. And let's just say, for all intents and purposes, they sell it for $10 again. Now, because it's an NFT, let's just say 10% of all NFT sales go back to the original creator. So that means that every single time that boat gets sold again on the marketplace, $1 goes back to Rockstar each time. So Rockstar had the ability to make $10 on that first purchase, and then $1 each time that boat gets sold again. So what you've done is you've dramatically changed the cash flow for your business. Whereas before, your initial game sales and your initial DLC sales were one-shots. So you had really big injections of cash and liquidity, and then it trickled off. That trickle off will be more gradual because you'll be able to access revenue that you weren't able to access before on secondary markets. And so what that'll do for game developers is go, oh, cool. These games will have more life for us for money-making opportunity. That means that game servers there's a much more high likelihood that game servers will be left on. The longevity of good games will continue, which is great for community building. It's great from a cash revenue standpoint for a game developing company, which is attractive, particularly if they're public, because it's good to show their investors, right? They're incentivized to do that. And then at the same time, the player base, you spent $10 on that boat, and let's just say worst case scenario, let's say it's worth 50% less when you sell it on the marketplace, but you still get $5 out of your $10 back that today you wouldn't have been able to have gotten before. So lower total cost of ownership for players, better long-term cash streams for game development companies, and at the same time, better gaming community experiences because there's a financial incentive to keep the servers on, right?
Is there the challenge I see though is that if you are offering items and like you said, it's cheaper for gamers, then that could cut into the bottom line of the game itself. So I'm not convinced that that's necessarily a better cash cow than them just being the only one who sells it.
Well, how would it be bad for the bottom line of the game development company?
Because if I could sell 10 packs for $100 each, right, and make $1,000, and the only way they could buy it is by getting it through me, then I would make $1,000. Whereas if I sell 5 packs, but then those 5 are traded to other people, then I only make $500 plus the royalties on those 5.
But those are different products. There's going to be a demand for the 100 packs you sell at $10 to a primary audience that you would have sold anyway in Web 2. And there's going to be a whole nother set of demand. Think of Pokemon cards. There's that kid whose parents couldn't afford them at Christmas time, who would love to get their kid that Pokemon card for less that somebody is willing to sell them on the secondary market. So you're selling 100 at $10, but now you're also selling 200 by selling the same pack twice on the secondary for half the price. You're going to sell some, the cheapo cards that absolutely nobody wants, for even less. It's like the McDonald's receipt example. Right now, they just end up in the trash can. But if there's a free sandwich attached and I can sell it because it's an NFT for even 20 cents, everybody gets more, the money has more velocity. The product has a longer life.
Yeah, and then there's also like human psychology add to it too. Like it becomes a status symbol, right? It's like the same for any market. Like you can use Pokemon or other things too. It's like if they keep releasing products, people want the new shiny thing that becomes a flex, and then yada, 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 right? So you're always going to have
what if Michael Jordan owns it? You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden this pack that was just one of 100 packs owned by Michael Jordan, because you have a verifiable record of provenance, like that gets more value now.
Yeah, this gun was used by Dr.
I mean, that's a fringe case, but I'm just saying for the company originally selling it, like if the only place you can get it is the company, then all of that money for the people who want it would go to that company. Versus
but it's a much smaller pot of money. It's just a very small pot.
I would argue that
you understand the logic of what I'm saying, though, right? Like
I understand the logic of what you're saying. Totally. I just think that by being able to open up a secondary market, you are long-term creating more revenue for your company than if you're like, hey, we're the only place where you can go and buy this.
But that means you have to have 10 times more product
No, you
in the
don't.
secondary sales to equal one of your initially sold products.
What you're saying is you're opening a new gateway for a new possibility for the same product. Right now, I don't need to have more products. I have the same amount of products, but more ways people can spend money on them.
And then one thing you could do too, if you wanted to balance that, well, you could balance that too. Like, I don't know, I would imagine they would do some type of financial analysis and figure out like, hey, most of the items in the game aren't going to be NFTs, right? They're going to be normal. Maybe most of our DLC products won't, right? But then they have some like highly elite offerings that are very limited in number and supply. Sell those to the market, have that initial sale, and then because they're limited, potentially those assets go up in value and are sold on the marketplace, and then the price that they're getting a cut of is increasing, right? But that would only work if you have like a lot of people playing the game. There's a lot of visibility, a lot of Twitch streamers on, right? But there's definitely like it wouldn't be all NFT sales. I feel like a video game company would only have like few select products that would be NFTs maybe, and the regular ones would be regular game items. That's an interesting question. That's an interesting.
That goes in the face of the whole ethos of why even go on the blockchain in the first place. If you're only going to be able to own some of your achievements, you know.
Yeah, but gaming companies don't care about that. They just care about making money.
The best example I can come up with here is Mack. If you're familiar with RuneScape and how much stuff they sell.
Yeah.
Right now, RuneScape is not hurting for they're like somehow still out there. They've added enough stuff to where people feel the need to continue paying the membership and enhance memberships, and they make a bunch of money. However, they still to this day, and they've just sort of accepted it, even though for years they tried to shut it down when they could have enabled a Web3 element and capitalized on it without suffering at all, because even its presence has not hurt their bottom line in enough of a way to make a big difference. They lose so much potential money on the black market for RuneScape stuff. People selling accounts, people selling skilling packages, people selling items, people selling gold.
Yeah.
Like, if you go, and Ultima Online addressed this ages ago, Counter-Strike addresses this. None of them are using NFTs, but they could, and it would be even better. Just to embrace the fact that people are going to sell player to player outside in an unsanctioned environment. So I think that the biggest conversion will happen when game studios finally connect the dots, that instead of just trying to be tyrants and stamp out player to player sales of aftermarket items, they could just let them do it at home and take a slice of it every single time through the royalty mechanic.
Yeah, another example would be Beanie Babies and eBay, or drugs and federal legalization.
Those aren't good examples though, because digital products don't wear and tear. It makes no difference if they're
but you can create scarcity the same way. I mean, drugs don't wear and tear, but people want them. It's about demand.
Who wants to buy drugs from somebody else though?
Everybody who buys drugs buys them from somebody else, unless they're growing their own. Most people who consume drugs buy them because they don't want to water the plant. They don't want to harvest it. They don't want to get arrested.
No, I meant from a non-compliant distributor or something like that. Like if you're talking like.
But again, NFTs could create a relationship of compliance because they guarantee authenticity. Now with effortless certainty that this digital product, which before would have been a black market ripoff, impossible to verify or prove, is not only endorsed by this company who created it.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that at all. I fully understand the value of NFTs, and I'm pro NFTs. The only point I was trying to make is that there's this assumption that if you bring NFTs and you NFTize anything and everything in your game, that it will automatically mean more money for the company. And I haven't seen data to support that. What I'm saying is that if they can get it from a player at a fraction of the cost versus from the company, because this is something we had to have a conversation about as well for Shades of Sin, then they would just get it from the player and save the money if it's the same thing, if it gets you the same access in the game. So all I was trying to challenge was that assumption.
Yeah, which is why I think it's a great challenge, because I think the answer is a game has to weigh how much demand do we think we're going to have. Will that demand create a secondary market if we have NFTs included? What are our products and how much of it would we want to have the NFTs? Because we do want a lot of people to come to us for the right. Like it's an interesting economic question, and I don't have the ability right now to understand but it's a very fascinating question, and it's definitely a balancing act.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth between it.
Like you're not going to have a AAA gaming studio be like, we're all in on NFTs, right? Like they're going to dip their toes in and experiment, right? And they kind of find it.
Maybe it's something as simple as soulbound NFTs.
Yeah, I sorry. I just laughed at
I feel like that would
if you're tuning in, you're watching 3 men and a squirrel.
Is it just me or are his cheeks getting bigger? Look at
Yeah.
that. Jesus. Where did you feed it?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
There's some big old
So
numbers.
we definitely got a little bit sidetracked, but there was a good question. Let me scroll really quick. It was just about why would we allow, it was kind of like a, if Ponzi schemes are illegal, then why is crypto a thing? So I think my best answer is that if there was like appropriate level enforcement on existing laws in the crypto space where they actually like deserved to be enforced, that they would not be allowed. They're not allowed. It's just there's no one to go after them. So they're just sort of here. Because most of the, if you just surface level look at most of the stuff in crypto, there's a lot of pyramid Ponzi scheme type structure. There's just no enforcement agency to go after all of these people except for the SEC, and they're very busy going after the 2 or 3 things that aren't Ponzi schemes for some fucking reason. So if they stopped trying to sue Uniswap and just gave up and settled with Ripple and attacked all of the scams and Ponzi's and pyramid schemes and stuff instead with like a mass enforcement effort, I think that, I don't know, you would see a lot less of it. But as of right now, they have major tunnel vision and they're only looking at like 1 or 2 things, and everything else is just sort of here and sneaking under the radar.
Nathan said, get that squirrel. It almost looks like he's watching for a predator. It's like he's got his eyes and he's trying to be very still. Like he's trying to blend in but failing at it. I'm wondering how long that branch can hold it.
Yeah, I'm hidden. I'm one with the tree.
Alex, I was more interested in the part of that question that hinted at this idea. A lot of people are concerned or curious about, like, why doesn't the government or the bank or whoever generally, why don't they crack down on crypto if it's taking away all this power from them and giving it to the people? Yep. And something I want to iterate for folks is even China, which has made crypto illegal many times, it is totally unfeasible for somebody to completely police and surveil and control to the extent required for them to shut down a global, permissionless, decentralized entity like the Bitcoin network or cryptocurrency generally, where pretty much anybody who has an internet connection can connect directly with other users of the network without anyone's ability to censor them or the need for anybody to give them permission. You would have to do some pretty complete surveillance and crackdown. And that, in my opinion, would only underscore the need for such a thing to exist, like banning books. What's the number one thing banning books does? It makes people want to read them.
Buy more.
Buy more, exactly. We also had a question a while ago from our good friend Jerry. This was just about something specific in particular. GameStop 2.0. He said, I just bought it. What do you think about it? And I just wanted to draw your attention, guys. If you didn't know, in the meme coin casino right now, on the Solana blockchain specifically, where GameStop 2.0 lives, 9 of the top 20 meme tokens are GameStop derivatives. 5 of the top 10 are GameStop derivatives. Other notable narratives, Dog with Hat, Iggy, and Iggy Azalea celebrity derivative, and there's one called Trump Mania. But like, just to show you the dominance of that narrative right now, Jerry, and GameStop 2.0 is not one of those top 20. So as I look at this chart for GME 2.0, it looks like one of those meme charts that's had a rough time. Often when you see a meme at the end of its life, you'll see that it has a little bump. It can be really easy to make 3x at the end of a life of a meme because you wait for it to go down, 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 and then you buy it, and then there's a little, a dying breath. And if you time it right, you can make it work. But it's got about $18,000 of liquidity. It's got 0 transactions in the last 5 minutes, 11 in the last hour. Most of them are sells. And so what I would say to you, my friend, is what gives you conviction in this token? Did you sell it? Are you buying more? And if it was me and I was in the casino at this point in time, I unless I saw a significant news event, those metrics make me think it's on life support, and I've already missed the boat.
Did I miss you address the relevant news event for GameStop?
No, you did not. I did not address it. I'm curious as to what it is because it's relevant.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yes, I expect we will see a lot more of it because Roaring Kitty's stock hold of GameStop, he just dropped it on everyone, and it's a fuckload.
Yeah, it's a shit. It's 200 million.
Yeah.
Jesus. Did he ever sell?
No. Well, he has I don't know how much he's bought.
He did last go around, 2 years ago?
He
or
did,
whatever.
okay.
Yeah. But he is.
And then he bought the dip.
Yeah, and now he's back. He knows exactly how he affects the GameStop stock price.
Yeah.
And he owns a tremendous fuckload of it, and I expect that today when markets open, it's going to...
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Well, and Jerry said I was hoping to get in early, but this particular token has been around for, it looks like, several weeks, by which I mean 2 weeks, which isn't really several, but in meme land, it's a long, long time. And while it's possible that a refreshed interest in the narrative could bring renewed attention and liquidity, what I'd be watching for is I'd be looking at that 1 minute chart. I'd be looking at that 5 minute chart. And where I see on the 5 minute chart that there have been 0 transactions, I'd be looking for, 1 minute, 5 minute transactions going up and more buys than sells. That to me would be an indicator that maybe there's enough renewed attention to float my boat along with the others. And generally speaking, if you wanted to know, like, oh my gosh, how do I look for meme tokens? I'm hanging out in the meme coin casino. I don't know what's a scam and what's not. I don't know how to find them when they're just launched. Then you should check out the master metric liquidity video that Alex and I did over at the YouTube channel, Faceless Labs. Just Google Faceless Labs master metric. We sit down with Dex Screener. We show you how to sort tokens by which blockchain they're on, when they were created, and we look at that. We click through the different charts so you can see, like, oh, here's where we find how many transactions were done in the last 5 minutes, which ones were buys or sells. Here's how we look through the contract to see if it seems like a scam or not. Here's how we use Token Sniffer. It's the master metric video at the Faceless Labs YouTube channel. That's the Web3 101 playlist. And I also think maybe this is a quick time while we're paused on this. Let me give you a commercial to say, if you're interested in that kind of content, that kind of education, our show is, rapid fire here and there. But if you want to ask us a question about what you're concerned or curious about in crypto, could be related to anything, you should hop in the Discord. Because not only do we do question and answer there, but we also, I'm going to publish an announcement today, are going to start doing live courses and then coaching for folks. And whether you want to attend a class with, a handful of other people, live, ask your question around a particular topic like the meme coin casino, portfolio principles, maybe you want to do one-on-one coaching, maybe you just want to get access to the recording after somebody else does it so, you can try it before you buy it kind of thing. All of that is going to be there for you soon. We are launching this month classes on portfolio principles. That's the number one question we get asked is like, how do I build a portfolio? When do I sell? When do I take profit? Is my portfolio okay? Helping you build conviction around that kind of stuff. Web3 101 for people who are like, whoa, all this stuff, overwhelming for me. Where do I begin? That's for you. Also, how to set up your software wallet, send and receive crypto, and intro to DeFi. Those are like the most popular, most requested topics coming to a classroom near you soon. I'll be posting about it later today. But you can tap my face, tap Alex's face, tap Will's face. And I don't know about Mack's link in bio, but generally speaking, tap us, find our links. You can find all the links for the Rise Up Morning Show there or at theriseupmorningshow.com. Free to join the Discord, free to check out the YouTube, and free to be here with us 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. So bring us your crypto questions. Give that squirrel some nuts. And
Guys, I actually got to run, but I just want to hop in and say hey, and I'll see you guys tomorrow too.
Dude, you're not running with that body. You're crawling, bro.
I'm gonna skedaddle.
See you, man.
Peace, guys.
Joseph, it starts at 8 usually. Guys, I know you have other topics you want to go towards, so let me know if you want to hold on to this. But I want to talk to see if you guys have been paying attention to Toncoin and its DeFi environment. I don't know if you guys have. It got put onto my radar screen actually by someone in my DMs. They're like, hey, if you take a look at the DeFi environment on Toncoin, I'm curious if anything is like of interest to you. And I was like, Toncoin, I haven't thought about that in a little bit. And then I looked into it and I was like, holy shit, I should look into this more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Alex,
okay.
I see you nodding your head. I don't know. Because I just went on and looked on and saw that April to May has been phenomenal for Toncoin's DeFi environment. And they just got Tether turned on like 5 weeks ago or something. So now they have just like a lot of stablecoin liquidity entering. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, Toncoin. I never paid attention to it. And I was like, oh yeah, the Telegram blockchain. Okay, cool. Like Telegram's growing a lot. All right. I started looking at some of the DeFi environments. Like, although I wanted to look. I'm like, can I find another aerodrome? Like that's what I'm looking to add to my bag. Like, can I find another aerodrome early? And I'm doing some research on StoneFi, which is the top DEX on Tonchain right now. And then DDust is having a lot of growth, but it's like half the size of StoneFi. I was curious if you guys have like looked into this at all, and just like what your thoughts are on Toncoin, because it's a coin that I've ignored, and I have been researching it a lot the past few days in the DeFi environment specifically, and I'm just like, I feel like I need some of this.
Yeah.
So I'm bullish on the network. The more I learn about it, and I don't know. It's interesting because I first heard about it when someone was like, "Tell me about the Telegram coin," and my first impression was like, "Oh, Telegram doesn't need a token. This is like a fundraising play." But the more I learned about the network, the more excited I got about it. I have never heard about the DeFi until today. So I'm looking at DeFi Llama right now to see if I can get some more stats on this or just soak it in a little deeper.
Yeah, because it's good, solid growth, and it's not just USD growth, which is impressive enough because it's been like a corrective period for all coins, right? But like the amount of ton that's going on, it is very impressive. Now it's still only a $350 million TVL, which is still pretty small, but like, to hold this kind of growth in like a bearish corrective period is very impressive to me.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for the chart to load so I can see how that has grown over time, just like a visualization of it.
It's been like, once March 10th hit, it was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just like nothing, moon. Just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I see. Wow.
Will, I'm curious when you've completed your deep dive. I'm looking forward to seeing a video from you about it because I don't know as much about it as I would like to, and it's exclusively a time management thing and not like a not excited about it thing. But fun fact, as far as Faceless and the morning show is concerned, we found Toncoin on accident by using it as an example of my wine bottle theory for finding new crypto, which is basically just scrolling through a giant list of new crypto, either in a category that you're interested in or just like the top 200 list kind of thing, and just picking one off the shelf that looks interesting because it has a catchy logo or a clean looking name or like some better branding. And we grabbed Ton, and then we were like, wait a fucking second. This is kind of cool. And a bunch of people in our community, and this was like, Evan, I don't know if you remember exactly this happening. We could ask Leftover Eggs, because I know he got way into it. And he DMs me every now and then just like, dude, seriously, have you, like, look at this. Like, it was all just like a happy accident that we found it and kind of used it as an example. It was more than a year ago, I think, that we first got interested in it. But no, it's just like, it's just consistently impressing me. And I hear people like out in the world talking about it, regularly. So I'm stoked.
Yeah, and the crypto community is so deep on Telegram. Just funny because like I'm not. It's like the last thing I gotta do. But it's so deep on it. It just kind of feels like it makes sense. Anyway, I'm gonna be doing a deep dive this week on the chain of Toncoin, and then DDust doesn't have a coin out yet, so it looks like that could potentially be an airdrop opportunity, maybe. But at the same time,
this is a DEX, right? DDust.
This is a DEX. And it looks like there might be an airdrop opportunity just because they don't have a coin out yet. But when I go to their listed Twitter, it is in some kind of Asian character. Oh, no, there's English. Okay, the first one scared me at first. I was like, I'm not going to be able to know. Okay, cool. I'll follow this. And then the other decentralized exchange, the one that does have a coin, is StoneFi, STON.fi.
Yeah, and just the DeFi Llama stats say that TVL on StoneFi is about 2 times TVL on DDust. Talking 200 mil to 100 mil. So they're the leading
guy. The important thing to look at that though is the growth in the 1 day, the 7 day, and the monthly. And right now, DDust has a lot of momentum in the short term, and also 104% over the month. Whereas StoneFi is down on the 1 day and the 7 day, but like barely. So that'll be interesting.
But that's the kind of thing to see when you're looking at investing in DEX tokens in a burgeoning ecosystem is like, where is the momentum? It's very probable, I would imagine, that some of the people from StoneFi are paying attention to DDust and shifting liquidity in hopes to maybe get better APR, APY, maybe get exposure for an airdrop, that kind of thing, diversifying.
In November and December, when I kept my eyes on the base ecosystem, Aerodrome and Seamless. Seamless was bigger than Aerodrome, and then they were neck and neck for a while. And I made a video being like, it's one of these two coins, and I think it's going to be Aerodrome. And then just poof, Aerodrome was the winning horse that led off. And so it's the same kind of situation here. It's just that only one has a coin out right now. And StoneFi still has really good growth, and it's a $14.5 million market cap. And it has a burn mechanic. It's tokenomics. Only 10% of the supply is out, but the rest is going to be released over the next 4 years. Interesting.
Yeah, and somebody asked about a token in the Telegram ecosystem called Notcoin that I feel like I've heard of, but as I looked for it, almost everything I see is like a press release. Is like Notcoin is the number one article is investing in Notcoin today could deliver over 4,000% in gains, which is something somebody paid to put on this website. Price reaches all-time highs, surges 350% in a week. I don't know. Almost that alone is enough to make me say, it's got a 24-hour volume of $4 billion, which is about 3 times as much as XRP. So that's impressive, but I don't know. I'm hesitant to touch anything that's that hot, like a stove,
I might.
You guys know about Notcoin?
No, I've heard it mentioned in comment sections before, and I never paid it any attention though, honestly.
Yeah. Looks like it looks like it's had an up couple days. On the week it's gone from it's done almost a 5x on the week. So probably not the time to buy. Top gainer on Binance. I don't know what's coming at a market cap of 2.3 billion. I'd be interested to look at the website and see the white paper, but I don't know. With a name like Notcoin, you would think they'd have that when I click the website, it's a black background with white text that says probably nothing. And then I scroll. Which is kind of cool, honestly, truly, if I'm saying so myself.
There's another thing that I've been bouncing around in my head today, because it's something I've been ignoring, and I feel like when there's something that I ignore, that's like an initial thought in my head, be like, oh, that might be good, and I ignore. No, that's dumb. Typically, those are the ones that like make the most money. And the idea in my head was, when I open up my Coinbase wallet, because I play on Base a lot, when I open up my Coinbase wallet, I see these like, oh, like mint this NFT for free thing, but it's like from Coinbase, like it's legit. It's like, oh, it's like the on-chain summer NFT minted for free. This is, and then there's a part of me that's like, are they going to do like an airdrop?
Dude, I mint those all the time. I've got like 20 of them. Every time they release one, I claim it.
Yeah, I'm like, I should be claiming these, shouldn't I? Just to be safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Base isn't going to do a token, but everybody who's building on Base is watching that kind of stuff. I promise you.
Yeah. I should be claiming those. Is there a place I can go and claim them, or do I just have to because it's like only a certain amount of time, right? I guess each one's different.
On Zora. Zora is the number one place to be if you want to see stuff like that. The number 2 place is Warpcast. because people are going to talk about it and it's easier to discover on Warpcast. But Zora is where most of them go first to tokenize an image like that. You're going to need some ETH on the Zora network. You can use the Zora bridge, which you can Google, or I can send it to you. And then you're also going to want to do, sign up for do you have a Warpcast profile? Are you on Warpcast yet?
I don't, but I'm on their site right now.
Bro, first of all, use the link, the referral link in one of our bios so we can get some extra warps. It's the same deal, but it helps the show. Or maybe I posted it in the newsletter or something. Just, give yourself 5 minutes and help us with that because it'll be nice. And then, Zora. I think I can send you, Zora might still be invite only, in which case I will send you a link. And I will tip you when you get there. Most stuff is free to mint, but costs like minimal gas and ETH. But I can tip you, one of the popular currencies on Zora right now is called Enjoy. It was launched by Seed Club. It's like a round 2 version of DGen. And I can tip you some so that you can use it to mint some things and be an enjoyer.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I'll do.
Everybody else, if you want a link, our links they're at the links in our bio. You can tap us or get in the Discord community and send us a message if you need some. It really does help the show when you use our referral link, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. Plus, Alex and I are having a friendly competition all year to see who gets more, and I think I'm winning. So
it's the first.
Then, well, now that I know it's a competition, who would like to favor me? Give some promises in order to use this Warpcast links that you speak of, sir.
My lord, I will play the steel drum for you.
Yes, my favorite of the Caribbean cultural inclusiveness instruments, of course, yes. I shall listen to the serenading of this while drinking from my goblet of Capri Sun and toast.
Oh my gosh. Real quick, the name of the dexes we were talking about on Ton were Stone, STON.phi, and D Dust, like DEDUST. And if you wanted to find that for yourself, you could go to DeFi Llama, like the animal.com, and sort by blockchain, selecting the Ton chain, and you would see a drop-down list of the top protocols. DeFi Llama was in last week's newsletter. We gave you a link for it. And it's easy to search on Google. Is a great website to put in your crypto toolkit, especially if you're interested in finding new decentralized exchanges, protocols, lending opportunities in any blockchain ecosystem and seeing metrics for them. Highly recommend it. DeFiLlama.com.
Yeah, DeFi Llama is for me. It's like I've found that over the past year, my investing strategy has really been: what's the new ecosystem? Is it hot? I want that DeFi because just the safest bet for adoption.
That's honestly what made me like an interested and active crypto investor speculator in the last cycle. Was before that I was just buying tokens, and my whole investment thesis became what's the new network, what's the new blockchain, layer 1s and layer 2s, mostly layer 1s, and DEXs and DEX tokens. Who's got the volume? Who's got the attention? And where's their token? It worked.
Mm-hmm.
And it was simple.
Hey guys, if you want to get paid in StoneFi, we can all become ambassadors in their ambassador program.
Sign me up, man. I will get paid in StoneFi.
Oh, great. Well, what else do you guys want to talk about on the docket?
I'm gonna say I got a couple more minutes, and I got a bunch of shit to catch up on today, but I feel like, Evan, there was there, let me look at notes, was there something else that we got distracted on that was
I've hit everything on my list. The only question that we really missed is somebody in the audience said, what do you think about Jasmy? And I'm happy to touch on that, but I think otherwise we hit everything.
Yeah.
I want to make one more pitch on some of the stuff coming this week, but I'm good to touch touch final topics, and then ride our horses off into the sunset. Do final thoughts. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll let you handle Jasmy because I only know that it is heavily influencer shilled, and I've never looked into it because that stuff makes me break out in hives.
Yeah, I honestly don't know a ton about it either, except that I feel like I remember hearing about it and getting a little excited. So, Will?
I can lead us through this journey, gentlemen. I don't know. Sorry, I'm stuck in this voice. Yeah. So I haven't done a deep dive on Jasmine. I remember people asked me about it a while ago, and I looked into it. And I saw the price was going up, and I was like, "Why?" Because I looked into it, and they're like, "It's the Bitcoin of Japan," and I was like, "Scam!" Immediately. But then, like, I saw that like the developer team has started getting more active, which is why people started getting a little bit more like excited. And then the reason why the price pumped like 45% over the past like 4 or 5 days or so was because there was an announcement by the Japanese Prime Minister or something saying that like this particular thing of technology, and I have the article screenshot to actually make a video on it, is going to be implemented into Apple. But this particular bit of technology has to do with like building like a Japanese like data profile for people and having like some privacy features on that. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, like that's Jasmine's technology. Like, so Jasmine has a partnership with Apple," and that blew up on Twitter. But the thing is Jasmine does not in any way, shape, or form have a partnership with Apple, nor is the technology that the Prime Minister mentioned actually included in Jasmine. And I'll do a video on it since I'm talking about it here for any of the people who are like, "Well, what are those 2 bits of technology?" I don't have that in front of me right now. Actually, if I do this, let me know. Can you?
Nope, you rugged.
Yep.
I will say, when I hear people say Jasmine is the Bitcoin of Japan, my reaction, at least based on what I see in the space, is that Bitcoin is the Bitcoin of Japan. Of Japan, you know. Well, that might be Will. He might have gone to the moon finally. Maybe he was raptured to the moon.
I was raptured. Sorry.
You're back.
I'm just going to make a video on it. I'll do a video on it. But it's the my number technology, and then this other thing. I'll just do a video on it. I'll do a video on it. Sorry. But the thing is there's it pumped recently because everyone on Twitter was like, "Oh, Jasmine has a partnership with Apple," and it's not. It doesn't. And the Japanese minister isn't even implementing the technology that is tied to Jasmine, but it's related, right? It's like related. So it's them just trying to be like a minnow on the whale of the actual news. And then when the bear market happens and the price falls off, people will realize that it wasn't actually real. It's going to be one of those coins.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, it is pumping. There's volatility. You can trade it. You know, like you need volatility in a coin if you're going to trade it. So for a trader, Jasmine could be interesting. For investors, I would just say be careful because it seems like one of those coins that doesn't really have anything like too real going with it other than fake narrative that is easy to spread and share. But like, I don't know, the development team's a little more active. So, you know, there's a lot of exciting things happening in Japan, and Jasmine's kind of riding off of that. So, you know, I think there's money to be made, but, like, be really careful with it.
That is such a common motif in dumb cryptos that they, like, get really lucky every now and then, and something that's, like, marginally tangential to their mission statement, like, picks up steam in a completely unrelated way. And they're like, "Yeah, that's us." And everyone who like is bag holding it is just, you know, shills it relentlessly, and then they pump and then they seem relevant again. And that's like why all of this bullshit is still floating around and still relevant. There's no reason for it, and no one cares really, except the people who are stuck holding the bag on it and someone who thinks that maybe they can make a quick buck off of a pump.
Yeah, but I should probably definitely make that Jasmine video too, because the Jasmine people get upset when I say bad things about it, which is good for my engagement numbers. So I should probably like just turn my channel into like a Jasmine hate channel. Probably be pretty good.
Dude, that was one of my because I was in, it's kind of over now, in some hot water with the Algorand maxis.
Yeah, I remember that tweet.
Yeah, and it just really like put on display that like, dude, all of the chains, there's only one chain that has not ever come after me for having an opinion about them that wasn't favorable, and go figure, that was Solana. But every other chain has the toxic bros that feel personally offended. It's funny because those are always people that complain about everyone being too soft and everyone being a snowflake. And then the second you just describe their favorite blockchain as maybe not being the best thing in the world, they start crying and have a full-blown meltdown on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, it was funny. I expect that from most any crypto cultural thing.
Yep.
But then I was like kind of sad. We had like someone in our Discord being like, "Yeah, the people in like the Beam Telegram or whatever were like, I was just trying to ask questions, and they're like, oh, you're dumb." I was like, oh,
Yeah.
sad. And I had, like such like a
Didn't
good
that suck?
opinion of like Beam and like Merit circled out, and I was like, oh, that's sad.
It is. It really is. That's like my biggest thing, I guess, lately. I filmed a very long video the other day, which did way better than I thought it was going to. And that was my single biggest takeaway. I was like, hey, dumb shits. This industry is about to be and is right now in front of 1,000 times more people than it's ever been in front of before. Stop acting like spoiled toddlers and pretend that, put your nice shirt on and pretend that you give a shit about the industry. And if you don't, then just politely shut the fuck up. And I just think it's time to get more aggressive with people like that, because I don't know, the big networks have been fine so far to like not make any efforts to stamp out the toxicity, because they get attention on social media, and that's really the only thing that they care about. And now we're at the point where I think that level of attention has reached its peak helpfulness, and now now it's plateauing, and it will exclusively start to hurt. And that is another reason that Solana is winning, because they don't like, there are unhelpful Solana maxis. There absolutely are toxic Solana people. And one of the things that I've noticed is that those people often get quote tweeted by lead devs in the Solana ecosystem, or they get clowned on by people in the Solana ecosystem for being gross and annoying, because Solana is one of the first that's recognizing that those people are hurting you more than they're helping you. So it's,
Yeah, for sure.
that's got to change. Someone asked about biggest takeaway from consensus. So like I said at the beginning, my biggest takeaway is that Solana is winning. There's rug pulls everywhere. Solana has more of them because there's more stuff and there's more people, so there's going to be more scams. But as Mert tweeted the other day, can we please just stop fucking scamming people?
I love it when it's
So-
easy.
Yeah, I mean the two most like user popular ecosystems right now, from what I've seen, are Solana and Base, and they are both full of scams because they have a lot of attention. So hopefully that's a thing.
Hey guys, we're back about $70,000 for Bitcoin. Woo!
Wow. I thought you were reacting to this comment that said, love seeing short kings do their thing.
Thank you.
It'd be great though. I should brand myself as a short king and then surprise people.
I think
No,
so. Yeah, let's do it.
I'm on stilts. Not that.
I'm dude, Evan. Speaking of being short, I met another TikToker at Consensus, and I already told him, like, I'm so disappointed in you because he's so much taller than I thought, and again just dwarfs me.
Who was it?
Provault.
Provault is tall. I got
huge.
like average height energy from Provault.
No.
Not to say that he
No.
doesn't, have.
Just yet another person that I can be like, hey,
Is he taller than me?
he's up there, dude. He was being referred to as Crypto Hagrid at the conference. He's fucking huge.
What? Like
Yeah.
Mason level tall?
I haven't seen Mason in a year and a half, so he's tall. He's very tall.
I'm a little taller than Mack, and Mason is a little taller than me.
Yeah, I don't know that he's certainly not as gangly. He's
I love
But
Provault.
he's big.
Will, do you know Provault?
I know the name is tickles with familiarity, but that is about it.
Alex, does he still work at Alethea?
Oh yeah, that's why he doesn't make content anymore, because he doesn't have anything to talk about that he's allowed to talk about.
I mean, and that's such a loss for TikTok, honestly, because he was my favorite crypto TikToker that I wasn't already working with. He just was helpful. He explained things clearly. He made, just some of the best, most helpful crypto content. And it was like good for I learned stuff all the time as somebody who like mostly knew how to navigate the space, but also felt like his videos were accessible to people who were just getting. He's a goat. He's totally a goat. I miss him, and he's nice. He's a nice guy. We should have him on the show to talk about Alethea.
No, we could get him to jump in. I met
Surge too, honestly, because I don't see a ton from Surge anymore either, and I love them both.
Surge is the same thing. He's just working hard at Alethea and doesn't make content anymore, barely. But both Surge and his brother were both there, and then the whole Alethea. So I saw RF. That was cool. And I met Brent in person, who's another Alethea person and someone that I connected with on Discord a little while ago, and then he ghosted me. And so he was like, "Are you?" And I was like, "Yes, Brent, it's me in the flesh." So that was cool. But then Brent dropped that they're doing some like base integration stuff or something, and I mentioned that we were excited about base and that Evan was doing a lot of Farcaster stuff, and that we would love to talk to those people at some point about stuff. And Brent's like, "Well, when you're ready to trigger pull on something, let me know, because I'm in a group text with Jesse."
Yeah, and, right. Jesse Pollock.
Yeah, the Jesse.
Yeah,
the big Jess. So they're Alethea people are just super connected. Like RF knows Mark Cuban, and then they had a bunch of early investors, back in the day and all that kind of stuff. And they just RF knows everyone.
Yeah, and was a cool guy. I really enjoyed. We had when we were doing the long form show, not on TikTok, we had a great interview with this guy RF Khan William, and he's a former philosophy major who became a software developer. And it's just as wonderful as you might think. He built the Uber of East Asia back in the day, and now is working at a real AI company at the intersection of blockchain and AI. You probably would have a great conversation with him based on.
I like you to say real AI company.
I obviously don't have the measuring stick you do, but I just mean to say it's not like I am Spartacus, let's raise some money with a crypto token AI company. You
know what content creator I miss a lot though over on YouTube? It was Crypto Daily. He was this British guy, and he made funny but educational, really funny educational videos. And
Is he gone?
He's gone. He hasn't made a video in 2 years. And I loved it because he was crypto, and he would be like, "Welcome to crypto, almost, sometimes, never daily," because you do one video a week and a half. Oh God, he was hilarious. He was the funniest person in crypto, and he had skits and stuff, and it was great. I miss him. I really hope that at the height of the bull run, he comes in and makes a video and be like, "Hi, welcome to crypto, once every 3 years daily." Oh, I miss that guy.
Yeah, I remember this guy. I don't watch a ton of YouTube content, but I do remember seeing one of his videos had some crossover. Somebody reposted it, and I was like, "This guy's hilarious."
Yeah, I'm a YouTube slut. I'm on that all the time.
Okay, you're gonna have to help us get our brand over there, man, and make some inroads, because
Well, I don't make anything on there, so I'm a viewer. I just consume. I'm flat.
Okay, so Alex, your final thought is Solana's winning the bull run. And ProVault is really tall. Will, do you have a final thought, good joke, word of wisdom? And Alex, if that's not your true final thought, let me know, and then I'll give the last pitch and we'll ride this up.
Manny Two Guns, yes, there is an article. I'll make a video on it a little later today for talking about Jasmine and Apple not being partners. But final thoughts, words of wisdom. Take care of your skin. Paula's Choice, BCAA. Closes your pores. Put it on at night with a moisturizer on top. Put your retinol on once or twice a week. Also, moisturizer on top. Only at nighttime, though. This video is not sponsored, but if anyone is listening, skincare products, I will do it for you. I don't know. I don't really have too many extra thoughts or opinions. I'm just kind of thinking about all the Coinbase NFTs I have to go claim now. All the base related NFTs I got to go claim. Got to set up my Warpcast, and I'll put out a video in an hour or so about that Jasmine article, talking about how the Apple partnership isn't real, for everybody here. And then I'm going to put out a video later today updating where we are in the Bitcoin dominance chart, things like that. If y'all are interested. Oh no, that's it. I don't have anything else major to start with.
Alex, was that your final thought, or you got something else, brother?
Yeah, no, the only other thing is now is a great time to be getting into the show. So if you're new and you don't usually watch us, we've been doing this for a little while, and I was just on a true mission in Texas at Consensus to get new people and new content and sponsorships and stuff for the show, and we've got some big stuff coming. I made some very, very good connections, people that I've like briefly met online, but put a name to the face and had a quick chat and convinced them of our value and validity. There is like such a dearth of helpful crypto content on TikTok, and that was kind of my point to them, was like, I know that there's a reason you guys are not on TikTok, but audit me and the channel and the show, and let us help you get on TikTok. So like, I'm talking one of the chiefs of partnerships and marketing at Ronin/Sky Mavis. Had a great chat with her. She's fucking epic. Met a dude. There's a dude who just walked up to us outside of the conference hall and was just like, "I like your vibe." And we stood there and chatted for a little while he was waiting for someone and we were waiting for someone. And turns out that dude is one of the founders at Chainlink, and hired almost everyone who works for Chainlink and worked there for 10 years. And now is off doing other stuff, and he's just a monster. And then met a dude at the CrowdStake, which I got a lot more stuff about CrowdStake coming that we'll be talking about. Very excited there. Met a dude at that event who personally oversaw the hiring of 800 of the employees that work at Polygon, and then went off to do something else. Met the CEO and founder of Glue, which is like an exchange that's doing a bunch of security stuff, super cool, who just raised at a valuation of like $1.25 billion. He's coming on. Met a bunch of other games people, like I said, a bunch of my friends from Twitter, who are huge Web3 gaming influencers that have zero presence on TikTok and all would like to. So I'm like, I will be your shepherd. Help me on Twitter and I will bring you all to TikTok. So a lot of them are going to be coming on. Who else is on my list, Evan? I don't even remember all of them.
You teased about, you said you had a conversation with Arculus.
They gave me a free wallet. So that's exciting. We got a product demo of the way Arculus works now, and 100%, like, even though the video that I do for them will technically be sponsored because they gave me a free one, they didn't ask for anything. They were just like, here, have one. This is like $100 wallet, so that was cool. But I'm like, dude, it's a hardware wallet with the like day-to-day efficiency of a hot wallet, which is really cool. And so I'm very excited to set that up. And I think that my Trezor will remain as my, like, in my safe, where my Bitcoin lives, the things that don't need to move. But this seems like the way to get cold storage stuff that you actually want to like have and spend and like do stuff with on a regular basis. It was very cool. So excited about that. They're going to come on and they're going to give me more wallets to give to people watching the show. So excited about that.
Love that.
There's more.
St. Jude also, which is like my secret, obsession has been Web2 companies I want to bring on the blockchain in a meaningful, deeper way is St. Jude.
Yep. No, we're going to talk to St. Jude. St. Jude, it was there just increasing like their awareness and working on fundraising and talking about using Web3 more strategically and more effectively and stuff. And I was like, oh, we're your people. And then, because I was at Consensus with CrowdStake, we were like, are you happy with your crypto donations? And they were like, no, not really. And I was like, would you like a better way? And they're like, yeah, for sure. So excited to get them into the CrowdStake ecosystem. That was cool. But met their like head of Web3, because St. Jude has a head of Web3.
Is it St. Jude or is it ALSAC?
It was St. Jude. I don't know what ALSAC is, but
ALSAC is the organization that raises funds for St. Jude. There are two different organizations, and they share a campus. They share an organization out. They exist together. St. Jude is mostly medical people, And ALSAC is mostly like marketing, partnerships, business development, that kind of stuff. Their sole mission is to raise funds for St. Jude.
All I know is that everything was branded St. Jude, and the guy said that he works at St. Jude as the head of Web3.
I bet he works there.
Name is Mark. He's a really cool dude.
Martin or Mark?
Mark with a C. Mark
Sepulveda.
There's more, huh?
Mark Sepulveda. I bet it was Mark Sepulveda.
I don't know. Is he a big dude with a beard?
Yes.
Then yes. Sounds good. I think I'm pull up our text right here, Evan, because I know I was sending you a running tally.
I have reached out to him before. I am so mad. I have been in a professional relationship with ALSAC and St. Jude. He works at ALSAC for years. Okay. And I'm just really mad. I'm really mad about
I shield you.
I'm thrilled about it, but I'm mad about it.
Let's see. Just to give the...
It appears that the Ethereum ETFs should go live at the end of this month.
Wow.
The what?
Got those S1s on the way, huh?
Ethereum spot ETFs.
Oh, yeah.
It was live names.
That was one of the things, like, pure speculation, nothing to suggest that this is necessarily coming except for perhaps the weight and clout of the people speculating. But I briefly stumbled upon Mike Novogratz giving a presentation at Consensus, and he was on stage saying how he believes that Solana is the next ETF. So, again, pure...
I saw him say that on Twitter, too.
Pure speculation, but he was in front of the world proclaiming that is the case.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, I don't see it at all. But if you would have asked me a month ago if I saw Ethereum spot ETFs approved right now, I would have said no, not this year, not any chance. So who knows what people will ram through just for the potential to make some money. I think that's about it. So a bunch of stuff coming, lots of interviews, lots of exciting connections, and I'm bullish as fuck on the show. So,
hey man. Well, me too. We're gonna be back 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, 12 p.m. UTC tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and then in the meantime, if you haven't already, please do jump in the Discord community. You can ask a question, you can share a link, you can get feedback on whether that token you're interested in is in fact a scam, and just build community with awesome people, learners at all levels of experience like you. And stay tuned, because later today I'm going to make an announcement about the live courses that are coming to our Discord and some expanded membership opportunities, trying to just figure out the infrastructure of that, how you can accelerate your learning journey. And we want you to be here. This is your community. TikTok is full of crap, man. But together, we say, is the way to rise up. So join us on the show. Join us in the Discord. Tap our faces or visit theriseupmorningshow.com to find it all. And until next time, my friends, rise up. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.